Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can see, I had something baking in the oven today and it's all of my phone cases that I did for my latest shop drop. For a while I've been making these Sweets Deco phone cases and a lot of people have so many questions about them all the time. I've actually made a couple videos about DECODEN in the past, so if you want, check those two out and then come to this one. This one's going to be a direct Q&A for all of the questions people have sent in to me on Instagram. I will be detailing some of the materials I use as well as listing all of them, and then I will also be talking a little bit about my own personal tips on how I go about DECODEN. And the phone cases you see here are all the phone cases that I'll be making today. With that said, I'm going to just jump right into the Q&A, but right before we do that, let's hear a couple words from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Leanne, and today we're going to try out their PixCut S1 photo sticker printer and cutter, meant to transform a beginner into a craft master in just 30 seconds. So I was really excited that they sent me this because I have actually used their photo printer before. It is one of my favorite photo printers because the quality is so good. So I'm really excited to tell you guys how the sticker printer experience went. The first thing is that it's really simple to set up. Once you put the ink cartridge in, all you have to do is put in the photo paper and download the app, and then it basically Bluetooths up to your phone. Today I'll be using this sticker printer to cut out some labels for my small business, as well as some sticker sheets for my orders. They actually have a workspace on their app where you can easily remove the backgrounds and adjust the stickers exactly how you would like for print. And my favorite thing is you can actually adjust the cut lines, so if you want this to be a closer kiss cut, you could also do that. I think this is just such a wonderful tool to have, mostly because this is a very small machine, it's very fast, and it's not that loud either, so I find this to be very convenient, especially as someone who does a lot of DIY projects and runs a small business. And what I appreciate is that this is kind of a two-in-one machine. It both prints out your design as well as cuts it, so it's wonderful to have both on hand. And these turned out really cute. I love how these turned out. I'm going to go ahead and put them in some of my orders real quick and test them out on some of the boxes I have to see how they look. I think this is just really great to add some spice to my packaging. So I went ahead and packaged one of the phone cases that I had, put a cute little ribbon around it, and I also threw in my little postcards and throw in some free stickers for good measure. The sticker adhesive is also removable, so if you happen to put a sticker in the wrong spot, you can easily take it off and move it somewhere else. But on that note, the stickers stick very well on glass, acrylic, and plastic surfaces, which I think makes these stickers really good for branding items. But regardless, this is a really compact and super beginner-friendly, easy to use sticker printer, and I just absolutely adore it. Alright, so in the background I will be working on my Tokidoki phone cases as well as my other DECODEN phone cases, but I want to jump right into the Q&A, so I'm going to be reading over the questions that you guys sent in, and the first one is actually about the clay charms themselves. So the footage you see in the background right now, I'm actually hand sculpting some clay charms out of polymer clay, specifically from the brand Sculpey. Polymer clay is the primary clay that I like to use personally. Now this is a clay that you have to bake in the oven and then it hardens when you take it out. This one has a lot more of a hardened durability compared to other clays that I'll be recommending. But I've personally been using polymer clay since I was in elementary school, back when I used to make clay charms and look up tutorials on YouTube. So I personally really love polymer clay and will recommend this as like a main clay to be using.
You can see my Rilakkuma bento box. And then I have these, I put my big charms in one slot. This is Truffle the Bunny from Tokidoki. Then I have my bears right here.
Other clays I highly recommend are air dry clay. I use air dry clay from Daiso, and I use that one because it's very lightweight and you can get them in small quantities. Air dry clay will have a very lightweight, airy foam texture when it dries, and this is great for your bigger charms and charms that are trying to look like bread. I personally love using them for anything that looks like bread or biscuits, so I highly recommend some air dry clay as well. And lastly, do get your hands on some resin clay or make your own cold porcelain clay. Both of these clays are an air dry clay that have a very smooth texture to them and they will dry very hard like polymer clay. Imagine polymer clay, but you don't have to bake it. Resin clay is actually the standard for a lot of Japanese DECODEN artists. It's a lot more readily available to them, but if you can't get your hands on Japanese resin clay, I do recommend making your own by making a cold porcelain recipe. There are a lot of tutorials here on YouTube, and you can also find some online. I personally use the Sculpey gloss for my polymer clay to glaze them, and it gives a really nice shiny look to all my polymer clay items. You could also pick up different varnishes and glosses at the craft store. Even Mod Podge could even work as a good sealer. The Japanese brand Deco also makes a lot of really good sealants as well in both matte and gloss versions. I know a lot of people would recommend resin as a way to gloss or glaze your clay charms, but I personally can't use resin. I have a really intense allergy to resin specifically, and just the smell of it will give me a huge headache. Resin is also a highly toxic chemical, so I don't recommend it for beginners, and if you are going to use it, please search up all of the requirements and safety precautions you should be doing if you are going to use it. In terms of any extra materials I recommend getting, I always recommend micro paintbrushes, just small paintbrushes like those nail art brushes in case you want to do any handwork and paint anything on your charms. Like I'm doing here, I'm painting a lot of details that I obviously couldn't get with the polymer clay. Sometimes you just can't get all the details you want in just sculpting the clay alone, and this saves a lot of time where you can add those details by just painting them on. I also recommend other little fun items like rhinestones or rhinestone stickers, even sticker flakes. There's a lot of cool stuff you can find, especially in the craft aisle where you have like beads and rhinestones, just like that whole section. I highly recommend it. And I would say my number one most used item is probably an X-Acto knife. I mean, I use an X-Acto knife for any sort of crafting. It's like my most handy tool, but you're going to need it to scratch up the surface of your phone cases. Otherwise, the cream will not stick to it. So I recommend doing that and getting like a sander as well. A nail filer will do pretty good. When making charms, I like using cookie cutters, and you can get these pretty much anywhere in the baking section, and there's all different types of shapes. I just try to get them a little smaller so the charms aren't super huge. You're actually going to need a lot of things from the baking section because with all this, you're basically faux baking, so you're going to need piping bags and piping tips, and I also recommend watching cake tutorials on how people pipe as well. If learning how to hand make stuff with clay wasn't enough, go ahead and watch how people pipe onto cakes, because my first couple tries with doing deco, especially when I was younger, did not look good because I did not know how to pipe, and it just looked like a bunch of crap. It just didn't look good. It was like a big pile mess, not very nice. So I did end up watching a couple tutorials on how people pipe, specifically different piping techniques, and I just highly recommend it so your case looks a lot more concise and clean. And on the topic of piping, my favorite piping technique is usually going in circles rather than the up and down motion, because I really like how that swirl of icing looks. I don't know, that's my personal preference. I like that over the star shape where you just go up and down. So going in this swirl motion leaves like these little swirls all throughout the case, and I personally love how that looks. That's my personal preference on how I do it, so that's just my little tip. So here you can see I was really struggling on where I wanted the charms to go, so I always recommend to take a photo beforehand on what you want the layout to look like before you actually decorate. This is just so when you start putting the case together, you won't be confused on where everything's gonna go, especially for the fact that it might not fit totally. So I do recommend taking a picture ahead of time and then just recreating that photo. Otherwise you'll be a little lost like I am here. This is the first time I've done a character-themed phone case that I pretty much hand sculpted all the charms for, and I was really happy with how this looked. Like, I am so proud of how much my clay skills have evolved over the years. I used to really love making the Tokidoki characters, specifically when I was a kid. They were my favorite thing to sculpt, so I thought this would be a really cute homage to my younger self, and just to really see how much progress I've made over the years. I just think this is a phone case that my younger self would be really, really happy to have, and I don't know, it's definitely a nostalgia-based phone case that I made for my younger self, so I don't know, I think it turned out really good. Alright, so now I'm going to be frosting and decorating some of my pre-made styles for my shop. I have some deco cases that I sold this month, so gotta get those out, but I will continue answering questions as we go along. I personally use the glue cream from Wing Charms on Etsy. I like this one because they come in small quantities and you can pick different colors. And I also like that it dries completely hard instead of squishy like silicone would. But on that note, you could also use 100% silicone, which is what the original Deco girlies used to use. Silicone is great because you can get a lot of it for a really good price, so you can make a lot of stuff with it. But another one I would recommend too is the cream from Pastry Plug on Instagram. She sells some phone kits as well to DIY and make your own, and she sent me one a while back and I used the cream in there and I really liked how the cream was. It was super smooth, super lightweight and nice, so I highly recommend checking out some other sellers, and Pastry Plug's a really great one. But if you're looking for something that's really beginner friendly, I highly recommend the Crafters Collection Whipped Clay. And this one's great because it's already pre-packaged for you, so you don't have to buy piping bags or piping tips. It's already ready to be squeezed out of the bottle. So I would suggest, if you want to try for the first time, maybe trying it out on one of these. They come in small quantities and they're at most craft stores. Now we're talking about chocolate sauce, strawberry sauce, and even fake icing. So I would recommend puffy paint as a really good fake chocolate sauce. I like using it because it melts into whatever shape you're putting it on, so it's got a little bit of like a see-throughness. I usually just seal my puffy paint after it dries with a little sealant or a top coat directly on top of it, and I like using this in different colors. I'll use puffy paint in brown, I'll use it in white, pink, there's all different types of colors you can try out. Now, if you're looking for a more transparent sauce like strawberry sauce would have, I recommend getting the strawberry and chocolate sauces from Deco. Those are the ones I've tried out and I really like these because they have a little bit of like a clearness to it that usually only resin has, so this is a really good alternative if you don't want to use resin. Now, if you want to make some fake icing, there are a couple of different ways you can go about this. You can get some pre-made icing from the Tamiya Decoration series. They make icing specifically for Sweets Deco, and I personally have used it before and I really like it. The only downside is that it's pretty much Japan exclusive and also discontinued, so the prices to get it to you, especially if you live in America, can be very expensive. But you could always use the tried and true method that many clay artists before me have recommended, and that's making icing out of translucent liquid Sculpey. If you're working in polymer clay specifically, this will be probably the best tip for this. TLS is just liquid polymer clay. You bake it just like you would regular polymer clay, but it comes in a liquid form, and you can usually color this with chalk pastels, or you can mix it with other clay colors and get a thicker consistency that looks like real icing. And you could put this on your cookies before you bake them, or you can even make fake frosting. There's just a lot of things you can do with it. You just have to bake it. So I've had one of these phone cases myself that I made earlier this year, and I've had this case for about 9 months now, and I even went ahead and took it with me across country to go visit one of my friends. So it survived the airport and it survived the humidity of the air. It went through a lot of different conditions, and from what I can tell, they are pretty durable. The cream glue is in the name, it's quite literally glue, so the charms shouldn't fall off, and if they do, it'd be a very easy super glue back on kind of situation. Now, I'm not saying the cases are indestructible. As we can see, mine definitely has a little bit of some wear and tear, mostly from dirt and the fact that I have taken it to a lot of places. But how I usually care for the cases is that I will take a little alcohol wipe and I'll just clean up the sides if any dirt gets on it. I also like to make sure I get a Q-tip and try to get in little spots in case there's any dirt or dust that are stuck in the crevices. Another big one is that I don't wear this phone case every single day. I just say if you want your case to have a lot of longevity, I would only take them out on special events and occasions. I did make this specific case you're seeing right now that is a lot less clunkier than my usual DECODEN cases. These are my artist cases and they have my artwork on it, but they tend to be a lot flatter than my usual DECODEN phone cases. But even then, these phone cases are not meant for practical use. And this is coming from my own experience. I wouldn't recommend taking them to the beach nor to get your hair dyed, especially to get your hair dyed. That's how I ruined my first DECODEN phone case. It was very sad. So just maybe don't take it to places with a lot of water or dyes, I guess. Like you just want to be careful about where you take it. I do really want to venture outside of phone cases soon, maybe do some other things like jewelry or jewelry boxes or photo frames. I just do this as a fun little hobby, and I do sell these cases myself, but I highly encourage everyone to just try it for themselves and make their own for themselves. It's a really fun little project to do. I did a DECODEN themed birthday party, and that was super fun. It was like a mini workshop, but with all my friends. So I'd recommend just getting your friends together and maybe try doing something for fun. Like it's a fun little hobby, and it's a fun little hobby of mine, and I just urge everyone to try it out. And there we have it. There are the finished phone cases and they are ready to be sent out. I am so happy with how these look, especially the Tokidoki phone case. I'm really proud of that one. And yeah, I hope some of these tips could help you guys. If you have any other comments or any tips yourself, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. On that note, I will be packing a lot of the orders I did for this latest drop this upcoming week, and hopefully everything will be sent out to everyone before Christmas so they can get them as a sweet little Christmas gift. My shop will be open until the 18th, but if you're looking to get a fun little gift for someone, I do sell some phone cases up on my shop. I think there's some artist ones still available. Unfortunately, all the Deco ones are sold out, but if you're interested in getting some art prints too, I sell my artwork. I think they look really great up in rooms, so highly suggest to check that out. And yeah, that is the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys found this informative, and I will see you guys in the next one.